I'm excited and honored to open this conference. It has been 7 years since I worked here in New York, and it's amazing to see the huge and positive change in the high-tech scene. On the same time, the traffic is a lot worse. Allow me to start by pointing out one fact that we all know about Israeli high-tech. High-tech is the most significant growth engine of the Israeli economy. It accounts for more than 12% of Israel's GDP, almost 50% of our export, and almost 10% of the workforce. And the numbers just keep growing. But can high-tech do more? Can it tackle the most burning questions and the most complex challenges that economies around the world are dealing with? Can it help to narrow the social inequality gap? Can it reduce the cost of living? Can it produce more jobs and create additional income? I believe the answer is yes. A few weeks ago, I gave a talk at the Kälkkalist Summit in Berlin about the importance of increasing the involvement of the high-tech sector in traditional industries. I believe that as long as high-tech keeps disrupting traditional industries, it is possible to reduce the prices of products and services. And let's take banking, for example. Today, thanks to the adoption of disruptive technologies, banking fees for digital users have gone down by more than 70%. This is without mentioning Pepper, which is our mobile-only bank, which has no current account fees. This is also true when it comes to reduction in costs for media and entertainment. If we take Netflix, for example, it's a tech company in essence which enjoys the boost of broadband technology in order to reach almost every device in the world. The service costs a little less than $10, definitely a revolution in terms of cost of living. Those were two industries which already been disrupted, and I'll take two examples of industries which I think are about to be disrupted. The first is real estate. When it comes to real estate, Israel is a country in which you need an average of 137 salaries in order to buy an apartment. The high-tech industry has tremendous potential to reduce construction costs. Currently, there are more than 100 startups dedicated to reducing construction costs. From drones that supervise the construction site, and companies like Astralink, which uses augmented reality to prevent 50% of construction mistakes. Another industry which have yet been disrupted, but I think it will be on its way soon. One of the main costs for families is food. Winston Churchill said, "We don't have to grow a whole chicken in order to eat its breast." Today we all know that the food industry is in a process of disruption. Another way of confronting the cost of living is by increasing income. We've all heard about the gig economy, the new economy that allows us to work not only between 9 to 5, but also in our free time. The other day, I was driving with Uber in New Jersey. My driver was a real estate agent, and she told me that she can manage to increase her salary from $40,000 a year to $60,000 by driving Uber 2 hours before she goes to work and 2 hours afterwards. And it could also be a student who earns money by recharging Bird's electric scooters at night, or works for Walt's bicycle delivery service in his free time. So, we've talked about reducing costs. We've talked about increasing income. Now, let's look at the third way of increasing the impact of high-tech. More than 1,000 startups are founded annually in Israel. Between 50 to 70 are being acquired by foreign corporations every year, mostly keeping their R&D teams in Israel. One second. We are all proud of those startups, but I believe that the Israeli economy can gain even more if the companies choose to remain in Israel to grow, like Amdocs, Checkpoint, and NICE, and keep their headquarters in Israel. I mean, exits are great, but we need to encourage what I call exit.il, and this also will lead to a ripple effect. Basically, Israel has to mature. The startup nation must become the high-tech nation. For that to happen, Israel needs to encourage not only startups and huge companies like Intel, but also promote medium-scale, $100 to $200 million companies, providing them with the necessary incentive to grow into a billion-dollar company. Maybe a tip for the new Minister of Finance. My last example of how to increase the impact of high-tech is what I call Nasdaq.il. Currently, the tech companies listed on the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange are only 13% for all listed companies. We must create a technological stock market for growth companies. This Nasdaq.il will service $50 to $200 million companies and help them grow, and then later to be dually listed on Nasdaq here in New York. Let's sum up by saying that more than any other reform, high-tech could become the key driver for reducing the cost of living and narrowing the inequality gap. Thank you very much.